Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to do a review of another ice maker. This one's some VCs. I've tested other ice makers from them before, but this one's kind of unique. It's actually a Nugget ice maker, or down here where we're at, we call it Sonic ice because it's like the ice you get from Sonic, which is the real good small pellets. And this is the best way to go for ice. This is the model IC 1501 from VCs. The really cool part about this one is, unlike most of them that I've reviewed before, is you have to open them up by the top, which under my cabinet area, there's not much room to open it from the top. Well, this one, it has a drawer that slides out from the front to get your ice out. And you can also, two ways you can fill it. You can put water inside here, or you can fill this full of water. This holds 1 gallon of water, so it holds a lot more than you would inside here to make a lot more ice. And it just connects by a hose. And of course, it does come with a scoop, and this is a removable drip tray, just so the water, when you open this thing up, it's not dripping all over your counter. It actually has a little drip tray to catch it. But this is a real nice unit. It makes 33 pounds of ice per day. It actually holds about 3.3 pounds, I believe it is, inside this tank right here, the reservoir. So you can take this thing out after it fills up and dump it into your box in the fridge, or you can do like we do. We take this out, we scoop it out, and we put it into 1 gallon Ziploc bags and put it in the freezer. And that way we don't have to run this all the time. We can actually just build up some ice and then do it that way. Now you notice it's not in the box. That's because instead of doing the unboxing video, I wanted to go ahead and unbox this thing. We've run it for a little over a week, make sure that it's making ice good. That way I can give an honest review of how it's worked. And so far it's been flawless. It does make a little bit of noise, but it's not loud. It's actually pretty quiet. And you just plug it into 110 on your wall. These are pretty cool because you can take these things and put them in your RV or camper, put them in your tiny house or your house like this to make ice. Now you could actually leave it on and make ice all the time. It doesn't cool in this part here, so your ice would eventually melt, and then the water that melts from the ice will come back and it would make more ice. But the way we do it is just this thing will fill up no problem within a day, and then we'll take and bag it up, put it in the freezer, and that's the best way to go. You can usually, when you start this thing up, you can expect in about 15 minutes you're going to start getting ice out of it. And the first thing you want to do when you set one of these up is go ahead and run the clean mode. It does have a self-clean mode. It's automatic, so you click on that, it'll clean it. And then it has a couple drain hoses, which I'll show you. You can set them over and drain them into a bucket or into your sink and drain them after you clear it out. Or if you want to move this thing, you want to drain it out to get all the water out of it. It's real easy to fill, and I'll show you that too as soon as I zoom the camera up here a little bit closer. Okay, here's the back side of it. Of course, this thing has a compressor inside here. We have these two hoses. One of them I have connected, you can see right here, I have connected to the tank. And it actually, when you get it, this hose here will be connected right here with this one. You just take this little tab off here, and this is your drain hose. You take both these hoses, this hose down here and this hose here, lay them over to the sink to drain it. And if you're not using this tank, if you're just filling it up from inside, then you would have both hoses on here connected to plug them off, and then they just hang right out of the way right here to be stored. Now, when you use this tank, it's very easy to set up too. The tank pulls off just like this. So when you set this tank on here, this is just the bottom base right here. You can see inside. And the water has a hole that goes through this hose and it sucks it into here. There's this little plastic piece here, which is actually the base. And all it does is clip into the bottom. And then your tank base will sit right on that. And that will hold it in place so it's nice and solid. And the tank, which I said is 1 gallon, very easy to use. It has a spring-loaded button right here, so that's so whenever you fill it up, you can turn this thing over and it won't dump your water out. So it does have a rubber seal. Just turn it a quarter turn, take it off, fill it up with water, which we're fixing to do, and then you put this cap back in. When you take it, put this part toward the front, and then just set it on here. And as soon as you do that, it pushes the button, the water starts going through the hose, and it'll start making ice as soon as you turn it on. So we want to go ahead and fill this up while I've already got this turned around here. And you can use small bottled water. You can fill this out of your sink, stick it in your sink and fill it up. Or you can just take this tank, and that's what we do. We use drinking water and just fill the tank like so. You don't have to fill the tank all the way. If you don't want to make that much ice, you may not want to fill the tank all the way. Then just take your top, put it back on here. Doesn't matter which way. Give it a quarter turn. Take your tank and set it back on here. And as soon as you do this, the water is going to go into there. See it bubbling going down. Run it in here. Now we'll take and plug this into the 110 wall outlet. And I heard it beep. So now we'll turn this thing back around so we can see the display. Okay, so the first thing I want to do after turning it back around is put my drip tray under here. And that drip tray is basically just so when you pull this out, there is holes in the bottom of this tank to let the water run back into the inner tank. And any water that drips will just drip into there instead of making a mess in your floor. If you take this off, you can actually fill this up, and there's a fill line inside this. Right down the bottom there, you fill it up, and then you wouldn't have to use this tank. Of course, you're not going to get near a gallon in here. That thing might hold a quart. This holds a gallon, so you're going to get a lot more ice if you use this tank here. But if you're confined in a small space, you may want to use it this way, and it works great that way too. So we put this back, set our scoop here, hit the power button to turn it on. Now, if you was wanting to clean it, you press the clean button. It does have a light too. You turn it on, it has a nice blue light in here so you can see the ice as it's filling up. And it will fill this tank totally full. Now, it does have an automatic shut off, so when it gets full of ice, it will shut off and stop making ice. And then when it gets low on water, there's also a notification on here that tells you you need water. Hit the power button. You can turn the light off if you don't want it on very easily. It says making ice right now. Up here we have ice full. And here we have a light that says add water. And if you're using cleaning mode, then it would light up this light right here. So right now we got it on. You can hear the compressor running. It's actually not very loud. And we should be making ice pretty soon. It says about 15 minutes before it starts making ice. So we'll come back here in a little bit and see what it's done. Okay, it's probably been about 20 minutes. I didn't check it at 15, but there's actually quite a bit of ice in there. Maybe in 25 minutes, something like that. But it's not been a half hour yet. I'm going to open this up here. Oh, yeah, quite a bit in there already. And this is some nice ice. This stuff is nice, just like Sonic ice. Real edible. The best kind of ice there is right there, guys. And you can make it right there in your home. How cool is that? We'll let this thing go a little longer, make a little more ice, and I'll come back here in a little bit and finish this video up. Okay, guys, so we've been going probably about 2.5 hours, and we have made, it looks like about half full. So when this thing gets full, it'll actually get up to the top here. And then the sensor in here will tell it to shut off and to stop making ice. If you want to power this thing down, it's pretty simple. You just hold the power button down for a few seconds. It will power off, and then you're good to go. And as I said, we take these bags, put them in 1 gallon bags just like this, bag it up, stick it in the freezer, and we got several bags made up that way. And that way we don't have to run this every time we need ice. We can just build up a bunch of ice, scoop it out with a little scoop. So pretty simple to use, really nice. And after so many times of using it, we go ahead and I can run the cleaner, turn it on clean, and go ahead and clean it all out, and then I drain it into the sink. It does come with a good owner's manual, which actually shows quite a bit inside it about setting it up, how to use it, how to clean it, what the hoses are for. There's the 2 hoses on the back, which is water A and B, and A is what you connect this tank here to, so very simple, but it explains all of it right here in the manual. Very simple to use. So I will post a link to this thing below where you can check this out. But this is the VC's Nugget ice maker. Very cool. And the best ice you can get is having this Sonic ice. We've tried all the other ice makers. We definitely like these the best, and this is the best unit so far. Thank you all for watching. Check out the link below where you can check one of these out. Thank you all for watching. Click the thumbs up, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. Right on.